I'm just so super excited who we have on the podcast today. And I know you were going to introduce her, and I'm just so very happy. So
yes.
That.
Very, very excited. Let me start again. I stutter when I'm like really, really excited. Our guest today is a class act, Rachel. She's originally from Ottawa, Canada. She's a fellow foodie and my go-to dinner date for 18 years now. She's an award-winning actor, producer, writer, and mother. You may remember her from shows like Lonesome Dove, The Outlaw Years. That's one of my favorites from the 90s. Perception, and of course, The OC, as Kirsten Cohen, otherwise known as the better half of Kiki and Juju. Our very own Kelly Rowan. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi. It is so good to see you.
It's so good to see you. It's been a long time. You're all grown up.
Oh, gosh. Well, yeah. There's that. We all have children now at this point in time. But you just look amazing, and I'm just so thrilled that you're here with us today.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. So congratulations on doing this. It's fun.
It is fun. We're having fun. It's a trip, though. You know, rewatching this and reliving 18 years ago, it's pretty crazy. A lot has changed.
A lot has changed, but it's kind of funny as you know, it kind of takes you right back there when you're rewatching the episode, or it's kind of funny how you just some memories go away, but a lot of it's quite vivid, you know?
Rachel doesn't remember anything we found out.
She doesn't?
She didn't know that Caleb died.
No, I did not know that.
Okay, well, Melinda he wasn't really in your storyline. Now, you see, if I didn't know if Caleb died, that would have been a problem.
That would have been a problem. Yeah, if you didn't know your dad died.
Yeah.
This keeps coming up, though, for me, where I remember nothing. Literally, as we're talking right now, I see a text coming through from Josh Schwartz and Stephanie Savage, who sent something, and Josh goes, I bet Rachel doesn't even remember that Julie did a porn. So they're talking about something about your porn, and she's like, I'm sure Rachel doesn't even know that even.
Do you? What's the answer to that, Rachel? Did you remember?
Well, no, not until but you've spoken about it since we started this, so now I can say yes. But before this, no.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It was a fun little tidbit, but. How was it for you rewatching this? Had you ever seen it before, Kelly? Had you watched the show?
Well, ironically, you know, my daughter just turned 13.
Wow.
So she's now, you know, she's curious. So I actually had to step in and watch parts of it as she monitored parts of the show. So I have seen bits of it since, and I was pleasantly surprised because it does hold. You know, when we all got this show, we had no idea that people would still be talking about it in 2021. And I think what's nice about it is that whenever you encounter somebody, they always get a big smile on their face, and they always say, "Oh my God, I just love that show." And so I think, you know, it's nice looking back on it to have been a part of something that made an impact, because I don't think we really realized that was going to happen at the time. You know,
it was pretty overwhelming, I think, for some of the cast members more than others. I remember you told me that you know, we have to do press from time to time. We're going to New York, we're going to Canada. And I think you went to Europe for press.
Yeah.
And I think Ben was there too. And you said it was pretty
Well, I was trying to get all you guys to come to Europe.
Yeah. Why wasn't I in Europe?
I know, right?
I don't know. I think so. Everyone had crazy schedules, you know, because we had such limited time off, I think. So I had convinced Ben to go do some press in Italy. And after that experience, well, I just decided I didn't want to ever go out socially with Ben and Adam, because they were like rock stars, right? Like I was the mother, no one cared. But these two boys with girls, it was pretty crazy. But I remember getting out of a car in Milan, and we were going into a sea of people. And then we got out, and everyone just started screaming, except we had to walk through. It was kind of like that first time. I don't know if you remember this, but it was, we had just started filming, and we finished work. They had us finish work early, and we got into cars. And we were all sitting in the car, we're all chatting away. And then we looked around and said, oh my God, wow, there's a lot of people there. I wonder who they're there for. And all of a sudden the doors opened, and they threw us into all these people. And that was kind of the beginning of, I think we all knew in that moment that our lives had changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's funny you bring that up, because anytime people have asked us, when did you know the show was a success? We kind of always go back to that moment where we were all, ushered to this place in Manhattan Beach and all the fans. And we were like, oh, wow, people are really watching this and liking it. And it was definitely that moment of like, okay, this is happening. But it's interesting to hear that we all kind of had that same experience, because that's just what it was. A very special thing in time, I would say.
For listeners who don't know, Kelly and I we got very close in that very first season, and we've spent a lot of time together, and we've talked about everything under the sun. But you know what, Kelly? I never knew that you studied acting in London and New York. I guess we've never talked about that, or maybe we have, and I just forgot.
No, I didn't do long courses. I actually took a summer. I was at Bada with Paul Rudd, who was my scene partner in many, it was hilarious. We had so much fun. And then I ended up doing a play. He put on a play in London. So he's to play Bishy Shelley. So I played Mary Shelley to his Bishy Shelley. So that was a really long time ago. That's going way back into the beginning of time. I did that. And then I was in New York. I think that's when I was really young. I had started to get some acting work, and I didn't intend to be an actor. I hadn't taken an acting class in high school or anything. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, maybe I should figure out what I'm doing. So, and then once I went for the summer, I thought, okay, I really like this. And then I came back and left university, and my poor mother was beside herself, because she thought, oh my God, how are you going to feed yourself throughout your life if you are an actor? But anyway, now I'm going back to school. Actually, I'm back at school. So it's kind of funny. And it's actually the best time to do it, because now I actually want to be there. So you actually do all your required readings. It's kind of funny.
Well, you have a teenager at home. She just turned 13, I believe.
I wasn't a mother when I was playing a mother on the show. And so, you're using your imagination and, the skills that you have. But yet now obviously now I have a much better understanding of what that means.
Yeah. I mean, all three of us have a daughter. We all have just one daughter.
Yeah. We all have one daughter. That's funny.
Yeah,
what did Braylon think of the show?
Oh, she really liked it. She got really upset though. She really wanted me to tell Josh that she's upset with him because she's like, Mom, they killed Misha. And I said, well, this is how this goes. There's a lot of events that take place in a series, but I think because, you four were it was such a great relationship, right? And the adults, we also we had sort of, two tiers of cast in the sense of age. And we often, we would hang out together because we actually really liked each other.
What was our go-to, Kelly?
Our go-to?
As soon as we'd get off work, we'd go straight to the AOC for bacon dates.
No, and I got you to do press in New York, and we had 2 days of food in New York.
It's always about food.
It was always about food. I said, Mindy, let's go. We can eat.
Yeah, I need to travel with you, Kelly. I want to experience all the restaurants. Yeah, I know. And I would love for that experience. I think that it would be fun to kind of hear how you got involved with the OC, and do you remember auditioning for it or what that was like, or any stories from that? Well,
ironically, I had come back to Los Angeles to do a show for NBC, and I was trying to move to New York. And so I had a lot of things in storage, and I thought, okay, I'll stay, I'll do pilot season. And I liked traveling around, sort of the theme of my life. And I just remember I was at Eric McCormick, and I've known each other for a really long time. And I was at his house. He was having a party, and I just remember him saying to me, you need to do a TV series now. You need to buy a house. And he's just being very fatherly with me. And I was like, Eric, he goes, nope. And I said, okay. Oh, so, and then I had, my manager at the time, he read the script and he said, this is a really good part. And, so I read for it, but I don't think I made any lasting impressions on my first reading because they had to, try to get me back into the room because they weren't going to cast me. So, anyway, I think Patrick Rush, said, oh, you should see her again. And then, the rest is history. But yeah, I don't think I was like, oh yeah, she's like, we need to hire that woman.
Well,
why do you think that?
Yeah. Why are you saying that?
Well, I just think sometimes in the casting process, I don't think like, I think things have to come together. And I think sometimes, it depends on who's your son and it depends on who ends up being your husband. And sometimes you go in at the beginning of the casting process or you go in at the end of the casting. Like there's so many factors involved. So I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know what was, I just know that they had to call and say, can she come back into the room? So, I mean, I could have been having a really off day.
From what we've learned, I don't think anybody was, except maybe Peter and maybe Rachel Adam wasn't a first choice. Ben was kind of at the end after other people had been offered the role.
But I think it says a lot about Josh and Stephanie, though, that they actually said, you know what? Okay, we'll give people a second shot, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like
That's
they weren't just going, okay, fine, no. Like they actually were gracious enough to say, okay, we'll let them try again,
Yeah. How did you feel when you saw they were like, here's Adam Brody and he is going to be your son? Like, what was your first impression of that?
Adam was, he's such a sweetheart, right? Like he was so fun to work with and he's so charming and funny. And of course there were always jokes because, Melinda and I there was only 13 years difference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
between you and me?
No, between you and I. Yes, you were the younger. You were the really young mom. No,
I was one of the kids.
But I think you just play the role. But off camera, we were always laughing all the time about.
Giggler.
Well, no, I did. It was bad, but but I think it was. We weren't that. It was weird in the sense that there was only 13 years apart.
I remember you saying that and talking about it. And you're like, I could technically date my son. Like, is this weird?
Well, it would still be a little big in age, although men do it all the time. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So,
but yeah. Yeah. But no, it was, but yeah, you just kind of, but we all believed, when we were on camera, we were all families and they were the kids and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always looked up to you, Kelly.
Aww.
And Melinda, you too, but we've talked about you a lot. So we talk about that.
Yeah. Move on to me.
But I always just looked up to you so much and you were just so tremendously talented. And I'll never forget your line from the pilot and you're talking to Jimmy outside and just the way you deliver, like, oh, that's comforting. Like you say it and it stuck with me. I was like, that is just so natural. And it was just something that stood out, which is this minor moment, but I just remembered it. And I was like, she is so good. Such a good actress.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, I just always looked up to you.
When the weather gets warmer, the last thing I want to do is be all sweaty in my kitchen cooking over a flaming hot stove. No, thank you. But also, I don't exactly want to order takeout for every meal. That's why I'm obsessed with Daily Harvest.
Daily Harvest is delicious food all built on whole organic fruits and vegetables that conveniently stays fresh in your freezer. So it's ready when you are. It's really the whole package.
Daily Harvest delivers delicious harvest bowls, flatbread, smoothies, and more, all built on organic fruits and vegetables right to your door. It takes literally minutes to prepare, and I love knowing that the food I'm eating is actually good for me. And I love so many things. The pineapple and matcha smoothie, it tastes like a green tea pina colada. And I love the Brussels sprouts and tahini, and the tomato bell pepper gazpacho is a must for summer.
Daily Harvest never uses preservatives, added sugar, or artificial anything. My personal summer favorite is Daily Harvest Scoops. They're plant-based ice cream, Scoops is the perfect sweet treat. Plus, it's gluten and dairy-free. I have been so happy with all of the Daily Harvest products. My daughter, sometimes we go off dairy. It helps her skin issues. She's had a bit of eczema, and this is the perfect option because it's so delicious, no dairy, and we can just transition into it and add it into our routine, and she doesn't even know the difference. She loves it.
Super yummy. Stay cool, calm, and collected during the summer heat. Go to dailyharvest.com and enter code THEOC to get $25 off your first box. That's code THEOC for $25 off your first box at dailyharvest.com. dailyharvest.com.
Working in Hollywood, I know what it's like to try and adhere to someone else's idea of health. But with Noom, you don't have to. Noom uses a psychology-based approach to find a healthier balance that's moldable to your life, and as a result, more sustainable.
Noom is not one of those fad diets that works only in the short term. Noom has a psychology-based approach to getting people on track to eating better.
Instead of setting a strict set of rules, Noom empowers you with the knowledge to build smarter, more sustainable habits and behaviors.
No food is off limits. Keep eating foods you love while learning to maintain a healthier balance. I really like the approach. It's not heavily regimented, but more of a behavior management program, and it simply helps you make healthier choices.
Yeah, I loved using the app to track my foods. I really could just see what I was eating and how it was affecting me.
The stats speak for themselves. 80% of Noom users finish the program, and over 60% have stuck with their goals for at least a year.
Start building better habits for healthier long-term results. Sign up for your trial at Noom.com/OC. That's NOOM.com/OC to get your trial started today.
You were the first person to encourage me to get a facial, and you sent me to your facialist.
She does that to me all the time.
And I had never had one before, and I was terrified. But you sent me to this like really hardcore facialist who was supposed to like the best, and I'm sure she is and everything.
Oh no. Yes. Shout out to Christina. Yeah, no, she's great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's taking enzymes, digestive enzymes, getting facials.
I know, but you guys used to laugh at me all the time because I used to come to set with green juice because it's the only way I could make it through the schedule.
18 years ago.
And everyone would laugh at me and say, "What are you eating?"
I remember we all started ordering her food at set.
Well, because we couldn't eat at Bristol Farms every day. Like at a certain point, you just couldn't eat the sandwich wraps. You had to change it up.
We had to go get our own lunch.
We were responsible for our own lunch.
Yeah.
We didn't have catering on that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. An hour lunch.
We were there for so many hours a day. And I have to eat.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
We have to
as
eat.
we know.
And then sometimes fast. That was the first show that I ever did a little few days fast because I was running in a bikini.
Well, that'll make you that. Yeah, that's true. There was a lot of bikinis on that show. I didn't have to wear one though. I got out of that.
You got away with it.
I got away with that. I didn't have to do that.
Right.
Whatever.
Thanks, guys.
But the dynamic that you were talking about with the cast and something that we keep commenting on is we were all working off of each other. And this episode, I very specifically was excited to have you here to talk about because it's a great episode for you. It's a great episode for everyone. And I love that it's all at the Cohen house and it's Thanksgiving and it develops the characters and the banter back and forth between all of the characters. And the beginning of the episode has such a great example of that and it introduces us. I mean, we already know at this point that Kirsten isn't much of a cook, but boy, did they get a lot of mileage out of it in the beginning of this episode.
What Josh did so well was that there was so much, the comedy blended so well with the drama. So you got the relationship so clearly, like even rewatching this episode, you know, and it's funny, but you know exactly what's going on with everybody. And then, you know, the music always was so brilliant on the show, just how they weaved all that in all the time. It all worked so well. So yeah. And again, I mean, just the ensemble of everybody. And that's the thing when, you know, Rachel, you're saying, well, that moment that, you know, thank you for pointing that out and giving me that compliment. But, you know, I'm working with Tate Donovan, you know, and so you just really have to stand there and listen to when you're working with a group of people like this, you just stand there and listen, and things, it becomes a lot easier, because you're not acting by yourself.
But that's an amazing, just amazing advice for anyone acting. It's all about listening. And I think that's so true, and that's like the biggest part of it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of listening in this episode, which was titled "It's Thanksgiving," episode 11.
And it was the beginning of my alcoholic demise on the show.
But you have some of your best lines in this show too.
Yes.
It's kind of funny. Yeah.
So good.
Right.
I don't know if this might be a little known fact, but Thanksgiving is in fact Josh Schwartz's favorite holiday, which
is it?
Yes. And I know Seth talks about that towards the beginning of the episode, where it's Seth's favorite holiday. It was very funny to me rewatching this and hearing Seth talk about Thanksgiving being his favorite. And I was like, oh, I see what you did there, Schwartz.
Yeah.
It's the introduction of one of Seth's passions, as we're going to learn, that he is very passionate about the holidays. We all know people like that. My daughter is extremely passionate about the holidays. I'm like, I don't have to actually celebrate it on the 25th of December. We can do it in November.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We should read the synopsis of the episode. The name of the episode is The Homecoming. Directed by Keith Samples, written by Josh Schwartz and Brian O. Seth went from 0 to 2 girls, and both of them show up at Thanksgiving, as do the uninvited new couple, Caleb and Julie. Kirsten and Sandy attempt to play matchmakers. Ryan's brother enlists him in one last favor, which brings him and Marissa to Chino. Marissa gets a glimpse of what Ryan left behind. There's a lot to unpack in this episode.
Yeah. No, there was a lot going on, but
a lot
going on. And I thought too, I'm jumping to the end of the show, but that moment I was telling Mindy that when Caleb says to her, she's about to go after Marissa for going to Chino, and he just goes, Julie, it's Thanksgiving. And it just says so much,
Yeah.
And I just thought that was, and yeah, it's just the whole episode covered so well, just family dynamics, expectations, hopes, disappointments, everything that holidays bring up in families,
I wanted to ask you that the Cohen early morning kitchen scenes became a staple of the show. Mm-hmm. And in this particular episode, it was even longer. A lot of times the scenes are much shorter than this, but this one was much longer. Do you remember this specific episode and that kitchen scene? Or do you remember, did they get better and better as the episodes went on? Did you guys develop a rhythm with each other, knowing what to expect from the different actors? Because this one was really great. Yeah.
I think that's what doing series television offers you, is the ability to work with people. If hopefully you do get better, because you do get the rhythms down, and, you kind of develop an acting shorthand in a certain way, because it's like, you're working with each other every day. So, and we did a lot of episodes. That first season we did 27 shows, which is not really common in network television at the time. It's certainly not now, but at the time. And so I think, we as we moved around that kitchen, it just became, well, it was our second home, right?
Who made you laugh the most? Was it Peter or Adam?
Oh, it was Ben, I think, was the one that I would laugh a lot with. Yeah. I think that was, we had a really hard time stopping laughing. I couldn't tell you what we were laughing about, but we just sometimes, if one of us went off, I remember one night it was late and everybody really wanted to go home and I couldn't stop. And also it was a function of, I was so tired too. And so it was a bad combination. So I literally said, I'm really sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. Because that's the worst, when you can't stop laughing and you just can't get it together to focus.
I know. And you feel so bad.
You do.
Everyone's waiting and the pressure, and it makes it even worse. And then the laughing. I know.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing. But I'm very surprised to hear that Ben was the one that made you laugh.
I know, because both of us are not funny. Sorry, Ben. I am not funny. I am not funny.
I disagree. I think this episode, he had a little bit more humor, and it reminded me of actual Ben, not Ryan.
No, but we're both pretty serious people. Sorry, Ben, you might not be now, but I don't know. But I mean, I'm funny in my private life, but I just remember auditioning for sitcoms because when you're a young actor in Hollywood, they kind of say, or actress, they say, oh, yeah, you've got to go out in a half hour. And half hour is such a skill set that I don't possess. And so I just remember the last audition I went on and I literally apologized to everyone in the room. And I said, I can't remember what show it was, but I said, I'm so sorry you sat through that. And I phoned my agents. I said, never again. Please don't. No, I can't. I'm just going to have to do the hours on hour-long drama.
No, but you came off humorous. Like you could have, I mean, I think
I'm just going to attribute that to the writing because I am, again, I'm not funny.
Oh, well, Ryan is the straight guy to Seth's funny and you're the straight woman to Julie's funny.
Yeah.
Maybe. Everybody's got a right?
Right.
I'm like, so what is Seth and Summer? Funny to funny?
The best moment for me, for you, and I know, it's just that Spider-Man kiss was just.
Yeah, that Spider-Man kiss. People ask a lot, like, what moment? And that tends to come up. And it was so not romantic shooting it. And I've talked about it a bit, but it was a good moment.
It was such a great teen. It was just such a great teen moment,
Yeah, I look forward to getting to that and rewatching it.
Sorry, that's not the episode we're talking about. I'm sorry.
No, we're talking about Thanksgiving. So
okay.
Kirsten can't cook, but you cook, right?
I do
Kelly?
cook. I like to cook.
So you would not burn a turkey. Well,
I would not
maybe,
burn a turkey.
Depending on the evening. What's
just
happening?
Depends on the oven or the stove. But yeah, no, I wouldn't. No, but what was so funny, what's funny about that moment in the episode is when I sort of pick up the turkey and I don't really know what to do with it. And I say, oh, that's how she held you when you were a baby. It's just, it's actually a really funny line, right? Oh,
there's so many.
And it's true lines. when you have a newborn baby, you pick them up and you're like, oh, there's no instruction manual.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You think you're like, how am I going to keep this little thing alive? And yeah, it's terrifying. But yeah, there were a lot of funny lines. I agree in this episode. And Mindy, I know you were talking about that, the corn, when Sandy's out doing the corn and you're there with him and Seth sees you and he's like, you're a little too close to the corn, Mom.
Step away.
Yeah. And we don't know if that was improvised or written, right? If Adam said that or if it was written for Seth.
No, I don't remember.
It would be nice to get the scripts to know.
Do you guys have all your scripts?
No.
I do. I have every single one of them.
What?
You do? You kept them all.
I did.
You're good.
Smart.
Yeah.
I lose everything.
She's in Canada. I can't get them.
Are you still on Vancouver Island, by the way?
I am. I've been living here about 6 years.
Wow. So beautiful.
It's really pretty.
I
really like it. I'm in Victoria.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I really like it.
Very jealous of that.
No, I actually just sold my house in LA right before the borders all shut down.
Wow.
And it was kind of good timing because I wouldn't have been able to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
To it.
You're right.
So I love LA. I miss LA, but I just decided that I wanted to just have my daughter grow up in sort of a gentler existence. And I'm Canadian by birth. And so here I am.
It all makes sense. Joni just moved to Vancouver. Sorry, side note.
Did she?
Yep.
Joni was our fabulous makeup artist.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she's, I believe,
on that note, I want to mention something that I learned from Kelly, and it doesn't always happen. I think we were really, really spoiled on the OC because the hair and makeup team came in after every single take. And after the OC, because I think you kind of set that standard, Kelly. Other shows that I've been on, they don't do that. And I'd be like, wait, where's my touch up? And they're like, we just touched you up before the other take.
Well, but
like,
also to be fair, the show became such a beauty show in a way. I mean, I just remember it being about my hair at a certain point. Yeah. I was like, oh my God.
Your hair looked really good in this episode.
It was gorgeous.
And Mindy, your hairstyle was awesome. It was like
in this episode?
In this episode, yeah. It was like some high half pony bang situation. It was like with your
kind of 60s, right?
Yes. Everybody's look was pretty cool. Yeah.
But we got really taken care of on that show. But I think everybody, including the crew, everybody felt, everyone was just really committed and wanted to be there. And so I think it makes a big difference.
Hey, I'd like to mention the other, like the title of the episode, The Homecoming. Ryan gets a phone call from his brother Trey, and he's heading back to Chino to visit him. And I do like this episode in that they take him back to Chino and we get to see a little bit more about his life. And of course, Kirsten and Sandy are very concerned about that. And so is Seth.
Who they say are 16, by the way. When he says that in this episode, I'm like, they're playing 16? That was crazy to me to hear it out loud.
Yeah.
I like that we do see Ryan go back in this episode and Marissa goes with him. And I thought that was cool.
It was very sweet.
Yeah, it was very sweet. We see a lot. We see him go back to his old girlfriend's house, which is a little awkward, but accurate. Also, another thing I want to mention, they're at Teresa, his old girlfriend's house, and there's a picture on the refrigerator, and they talk about Ryan being in a musical as Snoopy. This was actually something Josh did when he was a kid.
Oh.
He was Snoopy in a Charlie Brown musical.
I think there's probably a lot more of Josh in that we don't know.
Yeah, now that I'm rewatching it and I know him so well, I'm like, wait, you put that in there? That was you. So that's kind of fun to see. I also thought it was funny that Ryan asks Marissa to drive. And I remember like, we shouldn't drive. Like she didn't have a license. I mean, how do we film those scenes?
How did she do that?
Yeah. Like how did she drive the car? Did she drive the car? Like I was wondering as I was watching it.
She definitely had a lot of mishaps with the car. And in that particular scene, it's on the blooper reel where she couldn't get the seatbelt to work.
That's right.
There's another time she couldn't get it into drive or reverse, but it's super endearing.
Very endearing and very cute. It reminded me of that. I was like, she didn't know how to drive.
Yeah.
Right.
She's from me. She was living, I don't think she had a license. Yeah.
No, yeah. Because she was growing up in New York.
A really cute scene, just to go back really quick, when Seth gives Ryan the comics for Trey. And I've never noticed that Ryan, he knows about comics, saying, Legion's it's much cooler. And this is just a funny scene. It's like, so Ryan actually has a lot of the same interests of Seth. He's just doing it a lot more quiet.
Maybe.
What's so beautiful about the series for in terms of their relationship is that they, they're kids, they're so different they come from such different backgrounds, but yet they find their humanity, right? And they like each other as people. And I think this just built into the storytelling is, the audience is rooting for Ryan to succeed in life and to have a shot and to get out of his path that is basically he's doomed, right? If he continues on. Like you sort of see, this episode gives you a chance to see what is going to happen to the brother, and what he has to leave behind, and the fact that his older brother. I mean, it's a really touching moment when when Trey says to him, little brother, you got to go. You don't want to end up like me, right? Mm-hmm. And the decision to say goodbye to someone that you love that isn't necessarily going to be the best influence in your life, right?
Right.
Because his brother can't help himself, give him, just in terms of the car and, getting him involved in the car, the whole, like trying to get money for the car and all that kind of thing. And so, Ryan has to kind of make a decision, and it's kind of a grown up decision to make. And he doesn't really quite make it, but you can see him thinking, Ben's character, he's thinking about, what do I do? Where's my life going? It's very, it's all written in that story in that moment. So I think the audience just kind of gets to go on a journey and see where this kid, what his life's going to be, how he gets thrown into. And then of course you've got all of the craziness of Newport, and, what it looks like on the outside isn't necessarily what it is on the inside. All of the family, we're all screwed up too. It's just, it looks prettier.
There's also, he's saying goodbye to his blood brother. But he's now accepting his adoptive brother.
Right.
Yeah. Which is healthier. And those are some pretty serious life lessons.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want instant gratification? If you're looking for satisfaction, there's no need to wait. With Credit Karma Money, you could win cash reimbursements for debit purchases. It's a brand new type of checking account.
When you use your Credit Karma Money debit card, you can win daily instant Karma purchase reimbursements on items up to $5,000. Just pay with your debit card, and if you win, you'll be notified on the spot, and your instant Karma cash will be added back to your spend account.
Open your FDIC-insured spend account for free. There's no minimum balance requirements, no overdraft fees, and free withdrawals from a network of over 50,000 ATMs.
When you make a purchase between July 1st and July 23rd, you'll be automatically entered to win $1 million.
Go to creditkarma.com/winmoney to sign up for free and start winning instant karma. That's creditkarma.com/winmoney.
Right now, visit creditkarma.com/winmoney to open your free account and start winning instant karma.
Instant Karma is sponsored by Credit Karma. No purchase necessary. Exclusions and terms apply. See rules. Banking services provided by MVB Bank Inc. member.
It's summer again, and that means hot, sunny days and nights that are too hot to get any sleep. Enter Brooklinen. Crisp sheets that breathe to keep you cool mean you can say goodbye to sweaty summer nights.
I have to tell you, I have a love affair with really yummy sheets, and I love my Luxe Brooklinen sheets. And I love that crisp, cool feeling on a really hot night.
Yeah, honestly, I am obsessed with bedding in general. So finding this Brooklinen and their sheets that keep you cool at night, I'm really excited to sleep this summer.
Brooklinen was started to create beautiful, high-quality home essentials that don't cost an arm and a leg.
Brooklinen works directly with manufacturers to make luxury available directly to you without the luxury level markups. So you get their amazing array of products at a reasonable price.
They're so confident in their core products that they come with a 365-day warranty, and fans are confident too. They've received over 75,000 plus 5-star reviews and counting.
So give yourself the comfort refresh you deserve and get it for less at Brooklinen. Go to brooklinen.com and use promo code OC to get $20 off with a minimum purchase of $100.
That's BROOKLINEN.com and enter promo code OC for $20 off with a minimum purchase of $100. That's brooklinen.com, promo code OC. When Marissa and Jimmy arrive, and Kirsten judges Jimmy's shirt and his looks, and because they're trying to set him up, it looks like a Costco, like Kirkland shirt. Nothing wrong with it, but Jimmy didn't seem to have much of a fashion sense. Jimmy and Sandy didn't really.
Right.
Just my little observation. I actually heard that when you open the door, and this is out there as trivia, that you say, "Hey, Tate," but I think you said, "Hey, hey."
Did I say hey, hey? Well, there was a lot of hey
I don't know.
saying.
It sounds like you said, "Hey, Tate."
Oh, now I have to
in the
rewatch.
episode.
I wanted to say that this episode was big for me personally because this is where I learned the word tryptophan and what it was and what it meant. I had no idea. And to this day, I'm always like at Thanksgiving, I'm like, oh yeah, it's tryptophan.
Oh, that's funny.
Thanks to the show. So thanks.
Oh, do you remember when I used to call you Scrunch?
Scrunch, you did call me Scrunch.
I did, because you're just so cute. She was always just so adorable. And then I used to call you Scrunch.
Oh,
She's still cute.
She's still adorable.
You guys are so sweet and so beautiful. Yeah. Stop it. I think it's really funny in this episode with Seth and his two ladies. He becomes a ladies' man, which is really funny. But when I was watching it, there's a scene with Seth and Summer where we're in the pool house. I think we're like making out and we're laughing, and I can tell that we're like really laughing. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I can tell that it's a real moment where Adam and I were like messing around.
Right.
As opposed to Seth and Summer. And then when Seth is in the bedroom with Anna and she goes to kiss him, I see Samira like slip tongue. And I'm watching it. But okay, so I'm watching it and she slipped the tongue, and me, like I get transported back to 18 years ago and I get a little jealous and I'm like, what are you doing slipping tongue in his mouth? Like it was like the real life triangle playing out as I'm watching it. And I saw it tongue and I was like, there's no tongue in television. Anyway.
When this whole thing started, my note was, because the music is so great.
Yeah.
And it starts this, chaos of the scene. And all I wrote was, Rach, let's talk about this scene, because when you guys are making out and you can see the look on his face, like, this is happening. And he was so endearing, and he was, whether he was really, truly enjoying it, which I'm sure he was, but was also I could tell that he was portraying Seth like, this is what I've been thinking about since 5th grade, maybe.
Well, that's the beauty about how the story was set up. Again, it was just this longing for this girl. And I think everyone has had a crush in high school with somebody that you really liked and they didn't respond. And so that whole dream that takes place and longing that takes place, and it's built up so well throughout the first season, so that when you guys actually kiss each other, plus you have great chemistry, it's such a beautiful development. And as the show goes on, I mean, everyone's just rooting. So even as he goes off and he's with Anna, who was such a great character, but at the end of the day, you're like, no, it's gotta be Summer. It's gotta be Summer.
So I feel like it definitely played out a little bit in real life for a minute, even though not like really, but I remember like the tension with Samira and I like a little bit, you know? Oh, because it was just this triangle or whatever. But thanks. That's really sweet to say. We definitely had fun.
And I still have a Captain Oates shirt.
You do?
I do. I have 2 of them. I have one in pink and I have one in white. What? And I have that Teen Choice surfboard.
Why do I have nothing? You guys
do you not have that Teen Choice surfboard?
I don't know what happened to it.
You got hottie surfboard too.
Listen, and I've moved quite a bit, and I mean, it was hilarious. And I thought, what am I going to do with this surfboard? But you can't. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do some. I don't know.
Yeah, something. I think I maybe like signed it and donated it to something. I think that's probably what happened. Yeah,
I know. I think it just got put away, and I forgot about it, and then I was moved, and oh my God, like there's just things that I know this because I've had to go through everything lately. So I have a lot of things but you have Princess Sparkle and Captain Oates.
No, well, the story is Josh has Captain Oates and the real Princess Sparkle. He wouldn't give me the real Princess Sparkle because he thought or knows that I would lose it. So I had to get one off Etsy. So that's an imposter, but she's still here with me.
Okay.
In the back.
Okay.
The sparkle.
Okay.
Yes. He didn't trust me enough. Whatever.
Just to go back to point out that we get to meet Teresa, who is played by Navi Rawat. And, she says, this is your new girlfriend. And I was the girl next door, just like Marissa was. And I really thought this was a good storyline. What did you guys think? I mean, I know everybody still wants, Marissa and Ryan together, but we've got to put a little bit of a wedge in these relationships, and that's a tool that they use in teen dramas. I
felt it. I was like, I was shocked that Marissa was like, no, I'll stay here with them. I was like, damn, that's like, pretty ballsy to be like, no, I'll stay in here with them, and I'm gonna. I don't know. I would have been scared.
Except that I don't think she's really aware of
the history.
Yeah, at that point, is she?
I think she's trying to find out a little bit more about him because he's been private, and ultimately, at the end of this, she finds she's seeking connection.
No, I think that's very true. Yeah. And she has to stay because otherwise she won't. This is like an opportunity to get to know more about him, his past, where he comes from, where he lived, how he lived, and I think if when is she going to go back to Chino? So I think that's probably why she stays, just because it's an opportunity that she probably won't get again.
I also love this when Julie and Caleb show up at the Cohen house. And there's a scene where Julie's sitting next to Rachel.
How many boyfriends did you have on this show?
Quite
That's
a few.
The thing that, that was just...
Say your whole name. It's really funny when you do.
Julie, Cooper, Nickel, Cooper, Roberts, Bullet, Atwood. See, I can't even say it.
Oh my God.
Then there's a Luke Ward in there somewhere, but that wasn't...
Oh my gosh. No, I remember reading the script where you... you were going to start dating Luke. It was just hilarious.
Booty call.
Oh yeah.
But I just remember, so in that scene, I'm going to talk about myself for a second.
Okay.
Julie comes in saying something about Marissa. And for some reason, I was like, Julie's so either pissed off or cranky why did I make this choice? Like she was already, sometimes as an actor, she's clearly, I don't know, as an actor, it's like I'm indicating I walked in already with an attitude, and then Rachel's there. And at some point she says something like, go whatever sports team they're rooting for.
Right.
And that turn around and look, if looks could fucking kill, she's dead. And even I was like, ooh, that's scary.
Yeah, but you weren't over Jimmy.
Exactly. It was like,
and Julie was she was mad that she just was mad. She was just mad at things because she was trying
Pissed
to
off
be,
at the world.
well, she was, because she was trying to fit in. Well, here I am telling you about your character, right? But like, no, like you were, But I remember when they set up the initial part of the show and you and I were such, opposites. And then because I think Josh knew that we used to go for dinner and we were friends off set. So then they started writing Kiki and Juju. And then I remember saying to Melinda, I was like, how are we going to do this? Like,
we're such opposites.
We're like supposed to be mad at each other. And then it was actually kind of fun because then we had to just come up with I was just constantly looking at Julie like I was amazed that I was friends with her,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, why am I friends with you?
Which ultimately is true friends, accepting people for who they are.
Yes.
And helping them get
even when they throw you under the bus.
Right. Like, that is the only
several
times
that over the course of 96 episodes of television.
Like. Well, no, I don't.
You did. You kept throwing Kirsten under the bus.
I know.
You were naughty.
You were a little naughty.
Yeah.
But can we talk really quick? I love this scene where you start once Caleb is there.
I start
you're really
drinking.
upset that he's there. Caleb's there, and you're saying this. Tell him to hit the bricks. I have a family who won't let me cook for Thanksgiving, a father who is using me for my candied yams, and we are out of Merlot. and Sandy goes, hit the bricks. Who talks like that?
I don't know where you have to ask Josh where who wrote that line. I don't know.
Kick the bricks.
Probably
hit the bricks.
Hit the bricks.
But we see that your dad is truly a trigger for.
But I think again,
whatever.
that was just a nice setup with the intergenerational, family. I mean, because I think everybody in that first season, we all pushed up against him, right? Mm-hmm. So he kind of was the reason why we were all the way we were. And so it actually gave a lot of, they had a lot of storylines involving him, right? And they were quite fun because, the kids were affected by Caleb because, he was making decisions in the city in this episode, and Anna comes up and says, you're basically a schmuck. You need to, don't destroy where we live. And then him and Sandy had their relationship. I had, here I was back working for my father, but there's control and things at play, right? When you decide to go back and work for your father. And then how do you have sort of your independence with your family? And then Julie's involved now. So that, there was just so much opportunity with Caleb's character, which they wrote for a while.
But yeah, you were just so awesome in this episode. Even the end, Kelly, when you're passed out on the bed, drunk, how you're passed out, like your face and everything is so real. Like you look like
I watched it and I thought, wow, I really did look like I'd had a lot to drink.
No, it wasn't like, it was just how, just your natural body, everything. You were like, yep. Which was great. I thought it was awesome.
But how funny is Peter, like looking over, eating his Chinese food, like smiling, like,
yeah, it's very sweet.
It's really cute. But
I actually talked to Peter, and he had said, and we hadn't spoken for a while, but he had said, it was really nice because he said, he was really happy with how the marriage was portrayed. And, he's such a good actor, and he was just really lovely to work with in that way. Cause it was like, I had a really good tennis partner as an actor. So, but I think if that's one thing that we could have left for people was here were these people who were flawed and, you know, it was in a crazy context in a certain way. But at the end of the day, their marriage and was they weren't going to do anything to sort of screw with that, for lack of a better word. And the family was really important.
Yeah, your relationship is so admirable throughout the show, how you handle everything, even, you know, the biggest of fights and whatnot. I think it's really...
But I think that was just written well. And I remember, if I remember correctly, I think there were moments where they were toying with the idea of, you know, and you see it, they bring on different characters that sort of tempt the times where there's unhappiness and things like that. But they ended up not crossing that line. And I think that was a conscious decision because, you know, and sometimes you don't know, I'm sure they don't know, like when they're in writers' rooms, you know, you don't know what's going to happen necessarily in 4th season. They have a Bible to a certain point. And then they're writing, they see the cast and they see the actors and then things start evolving. But I think that decision was probably a good one because I think that's part of why, you know, just how all the kids got along, and the kids actually, even though they did bad things to each other, at the bottom of it, there was a lot of love, right? They came back around. So I think that's why the show probably still resonates. And maybe that's why people are watching it now because, you know, the world's we're kind of in a crazy place, but you know, the show makes you laugh, right?
Well, and getting to that, the best part about the chaos of this episode, it reminded me of almost like the Christmas Vacation, the comedy, you know, coming out of this heightened demise of Thanksgiving, Murphy's Law, everything that could go wrong goes wrong between Seth and Anna and Summer, and then culminating into drunk Kirsten, burnt turkey, and everybody's arguing with each other. I remember doing this scene and just loving it. Having all of the adults arguing around that island. And those are the scenes that I really live for. It was a lot of fun.
And all the relationships were so clear and, you know, and it was just, but I think it was fun to do because it was, I mean, I remember looking forward to reading scripts, and I actually watched the shows as I went through. And I'm not a big fan of watching myself on camera all the time, but just to watch what was being done, and you know, just from a technical standpoint, I look forward to watching people's work, and I looked forward to reading the episodes because you wanted to know what happened, and I think that's a good sign, right? You know, when you're like, oh, what's going to happen in the next episode versus, oh, okay. What am I going to do next week? You know, I don't think I felt that way. And we had conversations about that when we were working, you know, Melinda and I, and, you know, it was interesting. We got to do some interesting things.
It's great when we can be fans of our own show. And I was.
Yeah. You know, because there's some shows on the resume that are, you know, you're like, people, you go, oh dear. Right. Not all, I mean, and I have shows that I've absolutely loved being on, but I think, listen, if in the span of a career, you know, you're going to have to do things because you got to pay your rent, right? You got to pay your bills. And so sometimes when you start out, you don't necessarily have the luxury. I mean, even now things have changed so much. I mean, everyone has to read, and it's so different.
I never knew that you were in Hook.
I was on Hook for like 3 seconds.
Yeah,
but yes,
cool.
no, it was
so
actually
cool.
a really, I mean, I just got to LA, and I got put on tape because Steven Spielberg wouldn't see people, like he wasn't seeing people in person. And plus the role was so small, so why would he? But I remember I had to meet him for the first time after getting this job, and I had to have an English accent. I remember him coming to the trailer and like, yeah, you know, he's coming and he's trying this thing, and you just have to like say your dialogue really fast. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he just came in and he like he's like, hi, I'm, you know, Steven Spielberg. I was like, yeah, I know. I know. I know who you are. Yeah. So, but it was the sets at that time were so spectacular, and you couldn't get on the lot, and it was a big deal to see them. And it was a whole thing at the time. But yeah, it was a really extraordinary experience as a young actor. Even if I was there for a few days, it was. And Anthony Powell, who just passed away. He was an amazing costume designer, and he like designed this dress for me. So it was just a really kind of special experience.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I had to ask.
Yeah.
Rachel, I have a scene that I think we need to comment on when Summer comes out of the bathroom in the pool house and Sandy is there. It's so funny because Peter literally is just like no look on his face. And you do this, oh my God, you're very attractive for a dad, but then, ooh, oh my God.
That's a very funny moment. No, and Peter's just standing there like, what is going on?
What just happened?
Yeah,
what happened?
What just happened? I know, it's like this whirlwind.
But his look on the face when he's talking, when he's in the chair and he's talking to Seth, and they're going to do comparisons between Anna and Summer. He's like, Anna, yeah, no, and then he's like, Summer. He's like, ooh, Summer. And
earlier on in the episode, he did a fist bump, and I was like, "Why are you fist bumping?"
Yeah,
when he was referring to Anna.
But you know what? I think again, the writing of that balance between trying to portray parents who listen to their kids, but at the same time provide boundaries for their kids. Like you knew the Coens were like, you're not doing that, but at the same time. Sandy could have a conversation with his son going, okay, I get it. They're both really cute. And, this one's got this quality, but this one, and as a dad trying to, so that all those things got blended together so beautifully. And I think that's why kids could relate and say,
well, everyone wanted a dad like Sandy.
They wanted a dad like Sandy.
And their dynamic and their scenes were always one of my favorites.
When he hit Adam in the head, I don't even remember what episode. Remember when he kept hitting Adam in the head with the paper? And finally,
that's in the blooper.
And Adam's like, what are you doing? Stop.
Oh, well, I can't wait to get to that one. That sounds fun.
But in the meantime, Ryan has success paying off Trey's debt with the car, and Marissa comes to his rescue. And here's another little bit of trivia for you. As the Range Rover drives away, if you slow it down, you can see the film crew in the reflection of the Range Rover.
Yeah, that was a bad faux pas. Oops. Someone left a ladder once, too, in one of the episodes. There's a huge grip ladder.
It happens. These are little things. I don't know if it matters. I just wanted to say, in this particular episode, as a viewer, at the end, I felt really good. It was one of those episodes that didn't make me feel frustrated, because there's a lot of those as a viewer, that Ryan and Marissa were successful in their endeavor. And it just felt, for some reason, very satisfying television. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was that.
But I think that's the show was, it just kind of hit a cultural, what's the word I'm looking for? But it was just sort of, it just sort of hit something in people sort of viscerally for the time frame of the early 2000s. And, if you get to do that in your career, I think, on a show, and make people feel good and entertain them and make them laugh and cry or think about their life in any way, then I think you've done something really good. So I mean, I'm really proud of all the work we did, and, and I had a really great time. So, yeah, I'm amazed I'm here with you guys today, and we did try to get together a couple of years ago, did we not? And then everyone's schedules we were all in different parts of the world, but
we're going to have to do it. We're going to make it happen.
But I don't think, it's not like, for me, I don't think people look back and say, oh my God, there's a person that I wouldn't, sit down or want to see or, give a hug to. Cause I think everybody, it was a special time. Exactly. And we weren't even supposed to go on the air, right?
Really?
Remember? There was another show for Fox that was supposed to go on. It was the scheduling there was another show for Fox. I think it was about Romeo and Juliet, and then that didn't go. So they pushed us ahead. And then we just finished the pilot and had a very, very limited time. And then we all started shooting this, and we're like, whoa. And then we were off.
Yeah, that's right. It was like, shoot it and we're airing it. Well, we thought it'd be fun to ask you some quiz questions.
Okay.
From this episode, if you're up for it.
Sure.
How much money does Trey owe people?
It's either $5,000 or $6,000.
Very good. It's $6,000. Well done.
What game is Anna beating Captain Oates in?
Jenga.
Very good. Why did Kirsten tell Jimmy she was breaking up with him in high school?
Oh. Why did I break up with Jimmy in high school? I can't remember.
I didn't remember this, but
there's a reason, and then there's a real reason, right, Mindy?
Yeah.
Apparently. Apparently, from what we're reading, there's a reason, and then there's a real reason.
I can't remember. I don't know. Isn't that terrible?
The reason, no, it's not. You're talking to somebody who didn't even know I was on the show. So you told him you were breaking up with him in high school because you got admitted to Berkeley.
Ah, yes.
And then Mindy?
But the real reason? She was pregnant and decided to have an abortion.
Oh, right. I remember that. Oh, shit. Did we ever talk about that on the show?
I don't know. Did we? I feel like did you talk to Teresa or one of the other, I don't know.
There's a lot of conversations that happened around the monitor that sort of blend into your unconscious of like backstory. And then I don't know if we actually talked about that on the show or not.
So we have some voicemails that we'd like you to stay around for.
Okay.
Yeah. You listen.
Hey, Kelly. I was just wondering, do you love your Chardonnay as much as Kirsten does? And also, what was the thing that you love the most about your character?
Okay. I do like Chardonnay. Probably not as much as Kirsten does, but what do I love the most about playing Kirsten? That's sort of a hard question, actually. I just liked all the things I got to do and the journey that I went on as a character, I think. And I got to play with comedy and I got to do dramatic stuff on the show. And so there was a lot of different things that were fun for me as an actress. But I mean, if I had to pick one thing, I don't know. I don't know if there's one thing.
Working with me. Come on.
Working with Melinda Clark. That was no, it was. No. I mean, we still talk. So, something was good. But no, I don't think there's just one thing. I think it was the journey that I went on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I enjoyed going to work, and I don't take that for granted because it was we did that for 4 years straight. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So thank God. The only time I just remember sometimes when, it's like 3:30. Do you remember that 3:30 in the morning? And it's really early on a Monday for a Monday morning call.
Yeah. For wardrobe.
Yeah. Sometimes I didn't like that part very much, but yeah.
Hi, Kelly. I've always had this theory, but I wanted to get confirmation. Was there a correlation between Kirsten's hair when she was an alcoholic versus when she was in recovery? I noticed when she was an alcoholic, she had wavy hair. And then when she was in recovery or before she became an alcoholic, she had straight hair. Can you please confirm? Thank you.
Interesting observation.
I don't remember if that was a decision or a choice.
It probably was. Wouldn't you think? That was probably thought out.
I had so many different hairstyles, Rachel, on that show.
You did.
I mean, it's a great question. I don't know if it happened deliberately. I mean, sometimes those decisions happen as character choices for sure. When you're doing a movie or something, you say, okay, my hair is going to be this way. And then when this event happens, things are going to shift. But I actually can't remember if a decision was made regarding that. I think we just decided that my hair was going to be curly, unfortunately.
Hi, my name is Juju. This question is for Kirsten. Does Kirsten smoke pot? Ever?
Okay, Melinda. I don't smoke pot. That would not be my drug of choice because you just want to go to sleep. And I have too much I want to do. So I don't want to sleep. Like, I used to like, oh God, I can't, that would not be my.
You remember what that was in reference to?
I do remember. Does Kirsten smoke pot?
It was on the blooper reel and
Tate because Tate, we were painting.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started laughing.
Yeah, tell that story.
Oh no, I can't. I remember that moment. I don't know. Does Kirsten smoke pot? And I just started laughing. It's like, no. But I'm sure Kirsten did smoke pot at Berkeley.
Right.
Didn't she?
Right.
They did a lot of stuff at Berkeley.
Yeah.
And then she infers, to go back to the beginning of this, what you started talking about, that they got into a lot of trouble, her and Jimmy. Possibly.
Yeah. I think it was, I think you started giggling and Tate must have said something like, what is Kirsten stoned? And you went, Kirsten doesn't smoke pot. It was just really cute. So, well, this was so much fun. Kirsten is such a great character on the show and one of the most important puzzle pieces to what we're doing here with this show.
I just love all the love between everyone after all these years. Is really nice.
It is nice.
Yeah.
Maybe we can meet your daughter.
Absolutely. I want to meet yours.
I know. She would probably hyperventilate.
Oh.
Yeah, she would. She'd be, oh my God. She's like, I just think she's so awesome. So it's very sweet.
Cool.
Well, it's actually
really
funny.
Sweet.
Her birthday was the other day. And so Janelle Sammelman, who was an AD on the pilot, and I'm still friends with. So I gave my daughter my gift and she's like, oh, thanks, Mom. It's like really nice and everything. And I was so excited about it. But then Janelle gave her Scarlet Witch signed by Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh.
Because she was on WandaVision.
Uh-huh.
So my gift did nothing.
Didn't matter.
No. She's 13. So when she meets you, she'll probably hyperventilate. Oh my God.
That is so sweet.
She doesn't think it's very cool. I'm not cool. She goes, Mom, you are not cool, just so you know. I'm like, okay, thanks. So
I'll never be cool to my daughter.
No, you don't get to be cool with your own child. I just don't think that happens.
No, I'm okay with it though.
That's okay.
I'll be like, yeah, well, your dad was really evil in Star Wars, so Mom's cooler. Just kidding.
Well, everyone, thank you so much. Thank you again, Kelly Rowan.
Yeah.
Again, we miss you and I'm feeling very sentimental and can't wait to see everyone in person. I know.
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay.
We love you.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Join us again next week, guys. Every Tuesday.
Follow, rate, and review Welcome to the OC Bitches wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you like to watch us, check it out on YouTube.